As the Muhammadu Buhari administration clocks 2, the battle against insurgency appears largely successful. But proper attention to those displaced, either in camp or outside, still remains a big challenge. And as you're about to hear in this report, many survivors of the deadly attack from Boko Haram are still living in both mental and physical pain from injuries sustained from deadly attacks.
It was a very big fight, which I said at that time was a fight in the army, by the army, for the army, against the army, in the army, for the army, against the nation. But luckily they have managed to put themselves together and come out with what we call the National Army. And they have been able to take the fight on to Boko Haram against the insurgency, as it were. And they have done quite well, I think.
Our security expert, Nnamdi Okonkwo, giving pass mark to the Buhari-led government in the fight against insurgency. But while the attacks last, they are still throwing up humanitarian crisis as over 2 million people are said to have been displaced. Thousands of people are losing their lives and property. Many others becoming widows and orphans. Joy Musa is one of those badly affected. She lost 4 of her children and her husband. I set out on a visit to Oregu, Lagos, where Joy currently resides with her 2 surviving children. All right, and we just arrived at number 35 Alhaji Muilu Street in Oregu area of Lagos, where Joy Musa, the victim of Boko Haram insurgency, resides.
I have gone short in my leg, which I've done 3 times operation now. Then now say I should go back to another operation, 1.5 million. I need Nigeria to help me, for the love of God. I survived with 2 children, they are not going to school. Now I'm in Oregu, even where to stay I don't have. I can't walk. I don't do anything on my own. Sometimes my breath will cease because of pain.
So where are your 2 remaining children and surviving children?
One is here, the other one has gone to one place to wash plate in one house so that they can give us food to eat.
The fear of the unknown almost led Joy to taking her life. Her case is similar to that of many other victims of violent attacks, a situation psychologists say could lead to post-traumatic stress disorder.
Psychological trauma will manifest with what we call post-traumatic stress syndrome, or PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. That is, which can occur some weeks after the stressful event. So usually, and that manifests through avoidance of what caused the trauma, relieving the trauma through dreams, and also hyperarousal of the system, inability to sleep, inability to eat. And if help is not gotten from that, it could also lead to depression. This case has had series of significant losses. So she must have gone through a series of these bereavement stages without having medical, psychological, or social support.
Such patients, according to experts, need psychological and social support.
There are some medications that we can prescribe called antidepressants or anxiolytics that the mental health expert can prescribe to remove the signs and symptoms of, let's say, hallucinations, the people that hear voices, and also remove the feelings of worthlessness, hopelessness, and guilt feelings. You can also give psychological therapy, which we call talk therapy, through counseling to psychoeducate the individual on how to overcome those negative thoughts that are leading to the signs and symptoms of depression. The only way we can know that there are people out there is if they came out to tell their stories and then they put it as information to the public. The government itself may not be aware that there are people who are in some camps or who are not in the camps but are outside the camp and they are very handicapped. The only way they can get to get any assistance is to make themselves available to the information authorities.
For now, the future of Joy Musa, her surviving children, and indeed a host of other victims of insurgency remains gloomy